Welcome back to Honda Magic Millions Day on the Gold Coast. The favourite winning the first event, the Seven Sports Handicap Sandy Prospect, with Jim Cassidy aboard getting the money. We'll check totes there for you shortly. Unfortunately, the race marred by a fall, 2 horses and jockeys down. Both horses okay. Let's check on the condition of the jockeys and exactly what happened out there. Our coverage today, of course, also assisted by a former race winner here, rode Brave Warrior to victory in 1994. Neil Williams joining us. Neil, what's the situation out there?
Yes, Gary, thank you. I've just had a look at the 2 boys that have fallen in the first race. Gary Baker is... Sorry? Yes, Gary Baker, he's escaped any serious injuries. He's got a little bit of blood above the eye and on the nose. Gavin Duffy, however, has a suspected fractured nose and a little bit of claret coming out of the mouth. But both boys very, very lucky.
Okay, Neil Williams reporting from trackside there. We're getting a little bit of break up, and of course that fall right in front of the grandstand has just thrown everybody into a little bit of confusion at the start there. But both jockeys, as you can see, on their feet. Gavin Duffy with a suspected broken nose, Gary Baker, a few cuts and bruises, but otherwise okay. Both horses definitely okay, so that is good news. Well, the Magic Millions is a fabulous race day. It began back in 1986. Of course, it's a wholesales and marketing concept, as I said at the outset, and it was recently taken over by a syndicate headed up by the irrepressible John Singleton and Jerry Harvey. And now the sales and race day are the second biggest in this country, and that's saying something. Let's take a look at some of the great horses and, of course, the people who've made the Magic Millions a fabulous success story.
The Honda Magic Millions Sales and Race Day. It's a whole week of excitement with a carnival atmosphere. But most importantly, the Honda Magic Millions offers owners from all walks of life the chance of winning $1 million on just one race. It's what dreams are made of.
It's a unique concept of the horses sold here at the Magic Millions yearling sales. One of those horses must go on and win $1 million race.
Brave Warrior, yes, he's too good! With the Honda Magic Millions, the Sport of Kings is now the king of sport for anyone with a love of thoroughbreds.
We're looking here now at a potential viewing audience in Australia, throughout Southeast Asia and Japan, a potential viewing audience of 67 million people.
Since its inception in 1986, the Honda Magic Millions has seen rags to riches stories like Sally Rogers, the trainer of the first Millions winner, Snippets.
Incredible feeling, incredible day.
And at the big end of town, involving the likes of Crown Casino boss Lloyd Williams, who owned the great Mahogany.
He was the most exciting horse you'd ever see first up. You know, he was an extraordinary horse first up. 16
horses purchased at the Honda Magic Millions yearling sales have gone on to win over $1 million in prize money. Champions like 1992 Melbourne Cup winner Sub-Zero.
And the Melbourne Cup of 1992 belongs to Sub-Zero.
The front-running Siley Century, who was bought for just $6,000 and clocked up $2.5 million in prize money.
Performance to Siley Century to win by 3 lengths.
Then the Speed Machine, General Nadim, who cost $20,000 at the sales and won almost $1.75 million.
General Nadim's well clear. Carol Love's running a great race from Special Dame, but it's $1 in a million. It's General Nadim.
And then perhaps the greatest of them all, Mahogany, purchased for $60,000 and the winner of $3.6 million in prize money.
Mahogany's got them. Mahogany's hit the front of the horse of the years. Come home to win.
But it all began with Snippets. He won the first Magic Millions 2-year-old classic in 1987.
To second, then Boasting and Prince Anton, but it's the local horse. Snippets in front, close to home, and he kills them in the Magic Million.
Yes, this first Magic Millions story was very special. It was a love story.
It was just a very good horse that I was very much in... Well, I suppose I was in love with him. That was my friend.
Incredibly, Sally was given Snippets to train virtually on a whim. And this real-life fairy tale began the Magic Millions tradition. From the simple country life at the Gold Coast to the whir and blur of city living and high rolling at the Crown Casino Melbourne. A contrasting Magic Millions story featuring casino boss Lloyd Williams and his love of horses.
First and foremost, I'm a punter, and I love horses. While the horses are going round, I'm likely to have a bet on them. While they're going round, I'd like to own a few.
Lloyd purchased Mahogany at the 1992 Magic Millions sale through his bloodstock agent, Henry Plumtree.
I mean, obviously he's the best horse I've bought by a long way.
There's no doubt that Mahogany brought a lot of enjoyment to Lloyd, not forgetting, of course, the multi-million dollars in prize money.
I've won a couple of Melbourne Cups, but I think Mahogany as a horse has probably given me more enjoyment. To think that, he could win at Group 1 at 1,000 metres and he could win at Group 1 at 2,500 metres is a fairly extraordinary horse.
The Honda Magic Millions sales is now highly regarded and has earned the reputation of being value for money. It's still early days in its development, but with the entrepreneurial input of new owners John Singleton and Jerry Harvey, the Honda Magic Millions aims to create history as a truly international thoroughbred event, the likes of which Australia hasn't seen before.
Yes, well, the big race is race 7, the Honda Magic Millions this afternoon. The average price of yearlings last night, Max, was $65,000, but we have the official result now of race 1 on the program, the 7 Sport handicap. And Sandy Prospect, the Jim Cassidy mount, here in Queensland, played $2.40 and $1.35. Habitas paid $4.20 and Spizan, Max's selection, paid $2.50. There's the Quinella and Trifecta dividends. Now, what about race 2 on the program?
Well, race 2 is a staying event over 2,200 metres, and the number 2 Explode to Glory is in from 11s to 780. Then go down to another interesting one. Number 7 Beacons is 715 out to 790. Number 8 Dr. Barrett, another chance from 10s to 11s. I thought number 3, Carla's Hope, had some chance, round about the 16 to 1 chance. But again, we've got the Gary Moore touch here with Jim Cassidy. Pim is from $5 into $4.45. Number 13, Redareb, is in from around $5.50 out to $5.75. Again, Gary Moore showed his knack at placing a horse for a target race, and again would appear that this is the case with Pim, to be ridden by Jim Cassidy.
OK, I think we're now going to check the latest in the betting ring. Over to you, Pat.
Gordon, thanks very much. I mean, at this stage, Pim looks to be the value for the punters on the tote, doesn't he? Because he's a little tighter than that in the ring.
He is, and another one that's a little bit tighter is one down the weights here, Redareb. So a little bit shorter in the ring as well.
Punters having a little bit of trouble deciding between those two, but at this stage, Pim a favourite down in the ring. Not a lot of money at this stage, but I think there'll be people looking at a Jim Cassidy, Gary Moore double for the first 2.
That looks the way, and they're putting that way in the tote, aren't they?
Crowd's loving it down here. Big crowd building up already. Back with more of the Magic Millions in just a moment.
Welcome back. I'm here with Batman and Catwoman, and you guys, I'm really impressed. You've made it here together. Usually you're not this friendly, are you?
No, we've resolved our differences for the time being, yes.
What about you, Catwoman? How do you feel arriving with Batman?
Yeah.
I think that says it all. But at least you did get here in style. Look at this for a mode of transport.
It's a car, right? Chicks love the car. It's quite impressive, isn't it?
So you define it a chick magnet. Everyone here, you might pick up a few girls. Is that what you're hoping for?
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time on my hands for that nowadays, but sometimes it does a job for me.
Excellent. Now, Catwoman, I'm a bit worried about that whip. I don't want you getting too near the horses. You have a fairly mean handle on it, don't you? You want to show us what you can do? Well, that looks fairly dangerous. I think I'm going to let you leave with Catwoman, and thanks for your time here. Back to you, Wilco.
Yes, well, the whip certainly brought a smile to Richard Friedman's face. Listen, we've got two important riding changes because of the injury to Gavin Duffy and Gary Baker in the previous event. In the upcoming race, the staying race, Mick Dittman will now ride number 7 Beacon, and on number 13 Rebba Deb, we've got Brad Stewart, Gold Coast non-claiming apprentice. They're the two riding changes in the upcoming race. Dittman on Beacon and Stewart on Rebba Deb. Richard Friedman, what's your tip in this upcoming race?
Well, actually, I've gone for Beacon, and I don't think we've lost anything here with Mick Dittman going on board, because Gavin a great rider, but Mick a equally great rider. So I'm very happy to be on Beacon, who ran third at his last start at Doomben. The start before that, 5th at Doomben. That's good enough form to win here, so I'm tipping Beacon. Probably the hardest to beat would be number 5 Matre and number 2 Explode to Glory.
And quite coincidentally, I'm tipping number 13 Rebba Deb, on which we've also had the jockey change, and I don't think we'll lose too much there either with Brad Stewart.
No, he's in very good form as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Friedman brothers, and I've got to be careful what I say here because Richard's sitting right next to me rather. They call themselves the FBI, the Friedman brothers, one of racing's great success stories. Here we've got 4 brothers who, despite working so closely together to keep their little empire together, they're always ready to have a go at each other. In fact, sometimes they're at each other's throats. This is the inside story of the FBI.
The Friedmans, one of Australia's most successful thoroughbred training outfits.
Sub-Zero got a length and a half in front.
In just 16 years, they've won 3 Melbourne Cups, 3 Caulfield Cups, 4 Golden Slippers, and trained a host of other Group 1 winners around the country.
And the Melbourne Cup of 1992 belongs to Sub-Zero.
We set out a while ago to build it into a big force in Australian racing.
With over 90 horses in training at Caulfield, controlling between $40 and $50 million worth of horse flesh, the 4 brothers, Lee, Anthony, Richard and Michael, have come a long way from growing up on a horse stud in Yass, New South Wales.
Lee had an old horse called Sitting Bull, which won a race, and we got a bit of money out of that, and we thought, oh, it's an easy caper, so we took it up.
Paul rides hard, and Mahogany takes again. He's Mahogany, a length and a quarter.
Together, the 4 Friedman brothers are winners, celebrities and champions of their trade. But to really understand who they are and how they get on, you'll have to join them on the golf course. In this instance, a fundraiser on Melbourne Cup Eve. It's not long before they take a hefty swing at each other. Youngest brother Michael shoots straight from the hip about brother Richard.
I'll take that. You probably ask him about what's good about him and he'll readily tell you. What's bad about him is he's got a huge opinion of himself.
Mulqueen's Funeral Homes. That's about how I'm going. I've got the lowest handicap, and I want to get that right out there.
He's out there, you know, he's probably complete opposite to me, so I guess in that respect, you know, we're very different.
Anthony's like the Howard Hughes of the training business. He would like to spend his whole day in his pyjamas, never speaking to anybody, never seeing anybody, the total recluse.
He's the fence sitter of the group on occasions.
It's been the same since day one. We've been fighting and arguing every day for the last 15 years.
A lot of robust discussion.
We're a bit hot-blooded and we're 4 pretty strong personalities and we don't take any crap from each other, so that's the way it works.
I like to see every horse every day and spend a lot of time programming horses, which is, you know, with a lot of horses in work, takes quite a deal of time to pick out a program for them.
I run the business of the stable. Financially, I reinvest what we've made out of racing in other areas.
So I guess I manage the stable on a sort of day-to-day basis, manage the staff and, you know, make sure things get done.
I guess Michael and I are more sort of out amongst the horses and the staff. Well, Anthony and Michael are basically directly under me, whereas I've got an overview of the whole thing. They're more directly involved on a day-to-day basis.
We tried to look after our owners, better communication, communicate with the media, keep our profile up, treat the training stable as a business rather than as stables had always been treated as you know, little cottage industry.
Yeah, well, a bad horse in the stable's no good to anybody. I mean, the owner's not going to make any money out of it, and neither am I. So our attitude is be straight up. If the horse isn't good enough, give someone else a try with it or sell it. Let's get on. Let's move on and try something else.
And here comes Mahogany down the outside. Elenon in front. Mahogany
Mahogany's got them. Mahogany's hit the...
To understand the Freedman's talent, you have to venture back to their beginnings, growing up with horses, learning to understand them, and learning to pick the good ones.
I think we basically learnt all our horsemanship on the stud. We rode equestrian horses, we had to go at polo, we had to go at all sort of facets of the horse game, and learnt really from the ground up what the animal was all about, how they think, what you can get them to do, what you can't get them to do.
I'm looking basically for an athlete and an attitude.
And it was this keen eye which helped catapult the Freedman brothers to fame and fortune on Melbourne Cup Day, 1989.
Terrific's going to win the Cup for Lee Freedman. Terrific kicked away and wins the Quinella for Lee.
Well, Pim is the one they've come for here, and they're tipping another Gary Moore, Jimmy Cassidy double.
It looks that way. One I'm worried about, Red Reb, change of jock here. Gary Baker was riding the horse, and now Brad Stewart rides. Gary Baker knew this horse very well, so augurs for the chances of Pim, I think.
Looking at Beacon there, Beacon is definitely good odds on the tote at the moment. Now, what is your punter's challenge after we've lost our initial $30?
We're unlucky in the first race. One of our horses fell, but I think we'll take another trifecta here and try to build the bank up. 2, 5, 7, 10 and 13 for a half.
So we're stepping quietly early.
Just early. It's a long day to get through yet, Pat.
$470, and we've invested another 30. Horses are in the mounting yard for race 2.
So we're getting ready now for the New Asia Singapore Cup, 2,200 metres here on the Gold Coast. It's Honda Magic Millions Day. Superb weather, and with me is the senior turf rider for the Sydney Morning Herald, Max Presnell. Well, Max, how do they look in the mounting yard as they make their way onto the track now for race 2?
I thought number 3, Carla's Hope, looked good, looks very fit, hard and lean. Also, number 7, Beacon, to be ridden by Mick Dittman now. Beacon, in a race that most horses are breaking out, which is only to be expected because of the weather. Beacon is particularly calm and placid, but 10, Pim, on the toe a little, but Gary Moore has shown he can do it in the first, and certainly is going to be very, very hard to beat in the second. Pim, a Jim Cassidy mount, which is a major plus today.
And that's the question, Gary. Can Jimmy Cassidy make it 2 on end here? So this track in superb condition, as we've mentioned. There's number 8, Dr. Barrett, or number 18, in fact, Batasha, Johnny Marshall. Yes, Gary, over to you.
Thank you very much, Gordon. Horses breaking out. What's that mean, Richard?
Well, when a horse breaks out, I think Max means breaking out into a sweat, and that's going to happen a lot on a hot day, but you prefer to see a horse that isn't sweating. It's a big advantage if a horse can be nice and cool and relaxed, and as we see them, they're going down to the start, which, by the way, is at the top of the home straight. They'll do one full circuit of the track. So they'll be coming down the straight, and this gives the outside barrier horse a little bit of a chance because it's quite a long run to the first corner.
This race is over 2,200 metres, and one of those guys out there on horseback is our own Neil Williams. Neil, you've had a chance now after the upset of the fall in the first race to have a good look at the track. What's it like?
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear Neil, but he can't hear me. Just do a little sound check over there. The horses on their way to the barrier, as I said, 2,200 metres, and it's an absolute delightful day, but very warm, and that's the reason why, you know, fitness is going to count in these longer races.
Yeah. This is actually part of the race here, Gary. Milling around behind the barriers, a lot of things happen behind the barriers. You know, horses breaking out in sweats, horses losing control before the race. Some horses run their whole race behind the barriers.
And of course, a lot of keen observers are watching this before they put the money on. So, Pat, in the betting ring, where's the money going?
Well, Gary, I've just spoken to leading rails bookmaker Lloyd Merlihan. He's just taken a sizable phone bet for Beacon, and I can tell you at 6.75 on the tote, it's still showing very, very good odds because it has tightened up very markedly here in the ring. Also, solid support, Wayne, for Pim right the way through betting.
Yeah, the punters just seem to want Pim. Interesting riding change here. Mick Dittman takes over on Beacon, and it's seen it short up dramatically.
Well, John Wallace trains it on the track. That has to be an advantage here in the Gold Coast.
I think so, and he's a pretty clever trainer, John Wallace. He'd have this horse ready to run well today on a big meeting, and Mick Dittman in the saddle, he's got a good combination.
Pym and Beacon, the two they're coming for, and both of them still represent very, very good odds on the tote.
A sizable phone bet for Beacon. That's Richard Friedman's tip. Where's your telephone?
No, it wasn't my phone, Gary, I can tell you. But it's good to see that someone else is supporting it.
Slight adjustment here to number 14 behind the barriers. That's Billy Be Cool.
Yeah, Chris Muntz in the saddle, I think.
Yeah, he'll be finding it difficult to be cool.
It's very important that all the gear is safely secured on the horse, because that's another way an accident can happen. So they're the barrier attendants doing a last-minute check there, and that's very good to see.
Well, it is a dangerous business.
Very dangerous business, as we saw in the first race. So Chris, now having had his gear adjusted and is quite satisfied, is going to enter the barrier stalls.
The money's still coming for Beacon, both on the tote and in the ring, showing $6.60 on the win tote in Queensland, and pretty much comparable in New South Wales. Longer odds, though, on Super Tab in Victoria and southeastern Australia. Here are the major market movers. Pym, good solid support, easing just a fraction at the moment as the big money comes for Beacon. Rebadeb solid in the market. Explode to Glory easing. Good money at long odds for Mac Palatial, and Lord Nor has been a fraction easy in the market. Let's take another look at the course map. This is a 2,200 metre start, as I said.
The 2,200 metre start is at the top of the straight there. They'll do one full circuit of the course. Nice long run to the first corner. So you're going to see the outside horses wanting to move forward and take up a position, because once they start turning, you need to be in position.
Big field of 16 runners moving into the barrier for a start in this race. Good betting race, as we've seen. The outcome, though, is wide open, but money usually talks in these events, so we'll be keeping a close eye on Pym, on Rebadeb and on Beacon. Great shot in the barrier stall there as the jockeys prepare to jump, and we go to our race caller, Wayne Wilson.
Mac Palatial moves up into line now. Pym standing up well in gate number 1, although getting a little toey now. Zappham's going into line. Pym races in a very famous set of colours, the grey and the red diagonals, the colours that were carried to victory in so many great sprint races by the super grey Scalacci. Trained by Gary Moore. Now Matt Ray goes in, and they're all in. They're ready to jump now, race number 2. And this race is over 2,200 metres. A run of about 300 metres to the winning post the first time. Lights are on, they're set. Pym, gate 1, favourite. Pym moving about. Oh, Pym giving a bit of trouble in the gates. Cassidy calling for assistance. Settles again. Ready now. They're racing. Pym began nicely off the inside alley. One of the first away is Manchu and Billy Be Cool, showing speed in the early part. Explode to Glory fast away. Lord Nor's going to settle about 4th on the inside, followed by Red Reb. He began okay. He's running 6th as they come to the winning post the first time, and Friends of Lovers going quickly on the outside. Mac Palatial trapped a little wide. Just Gus improving on the outside as well. Further back then came Beacon. Lord Nor's drifting back in the field. He can't go the pace early. Matt Ray next on the inside of Carter's Hope. Getting well back is Tough as Teague, then Zapham's Dr. Barrett, and last of all is Batasia. Pym is the leader, 1,600 metres to go, and Cassidy is going to control the race out in front. It's Pym bolting along by a length and a half. Manchu is running second, moving up to be third. Friends and Lovers on the outside, striding a little closer to this leader now. 4th over on the rails, Billy Be Cool. A length and a half to Explode to Glory, then Lord Nor, Just Gus, Red Reb running about 7th, one away from the rails. Matt Ray is next on the inside of Beacon, followed by Carter's Hope, Dr. Barrett, then Mac Palatial. Tupper's Teaker's well back in the field with Zappham's and Batasia. They're running along the back, 1,200 metres left to go, and Pym's had a pretty easy run in front so far. He leads by 3/4 of a length. In second berth on the outside, Friends and Lovers. One away third is Billy Be Cool. 4th, Manchu, followed by Lord Nor. Racing on the inside of Explode to Glory, then Just Gus, Matt Ray, Red Reb. A length further back to Beacon on the outside of Carter's Hope, and then Tupper's Teak starting to get a bit of a go on. Mac Palatial is next in the centre, then Dr. Barrett, Zappams and Batasia's last of all as they come down the side with 650 metres left to go, and Jimmy Cassidy doing a might and power on this fellow in front, Pim. He's going to try and lead from barrier to box. He leads by a half length on Friends and Lovers, followed by Explode to Glory now to third. Just Gus Beacon starting to take off, but he's forced wide as they come to the home turn. Billy Be Cool and Lord Nord just behind them, heading for home now. 350 metres to go, and Pim is the leader, and Jimmy Cassidy hasn't let him go as yet, although the rider on the second horse, Friends and Lovers, looks pretty confident. He snuck a look over the shoulder. He's looming up to join Pim at the 200. Friends and Lovers and Pim, they're locked together. Explode to Glory to third. Lord Nor running on the outside. It's Friends and Lovers going to a clear lead close to the line. Yes, he's got the money. Friends and Lovers first, second Lord Nor, third Explode to Glory, and fourth home Pim, followed in by Matt Ray. Next over the line was Beacon, and then Batasia. Redder Reb, Carter's Hope, Just Gus, and then Tough as Teak. Further back was Dr. Barrett, Zappams, Mac Palatial, Manshu, and one of the last over the line there is Billy Be Cool.
Well, he tried valiantly, Jimmy Cassidy, to lead all the way there on Pim, but was found out in the straight, and Friends and Lovers really had him covered right from the top of the straight and had the last shot at him. Lord Nor ran home strongly. Explode to Glory, that was a good run, actually.
It was a very good run. I particularly like the ride of Glenn Boss on the winner, Friends and Lovers. What a fantastic ride. That horse has jumped from barrier 17. And that's a fantastic effort to get the horse across in such a good position. And here you see at about the 200-metre mark, Glenn Boss in the yellow colours with the horse with the yellow blinkers forging to the front now. Pim's done a great effort to keep going on the rails there. She had to lead all the way, but Glenn's just forcing his way to the front. A few of the chasers are starting to come home. Our Tip Beacon and the extreme outside there of the orange cap, well, he got too far back and couldn't make up the ground, but a very good win to Friends and Lovers from the outside gate.
Going to pay a big dividend. Doesn't matter where you've backed it, around $28 on the tote. Lord Nor about $3.50 for the place, and Explode to Glory in the same vein. There's the head-on replay. Chris Muntz puts the whip away after he got to the front there and actually went to the line comfortably.
Yep. That's actually Glenn Boss there, and he's just got the whip crossed behind the horse's neck and just letting the horse stride to the line, and now they're easing down, and here he comes back to scale.
Well, as the horses head on back to scale, let's go down to the excitement of the mounting enclosure as the horses return with Gordon Bray and Max Presnell.
Well, second time wasn't lucky for Gary Moore. Pim a little disappointing, pulled a little bit hard, Gary, in that race.
He did, Max, but I just think first preparation 2002 was probably a little bit beyond him today, but he ran a great race. I'm very proud of him.
Sandy Prospect, you'd be prouder of her, though.
Oh, sure, very, very happy with her. You know, I set her for this race soon after taking her over from Graham Begg, and thanks to Mr. Lapointe for giving him to me, and next week we might go to Toowoomba and run the Golden Garter Series.
Can Plushenko win the big one, the Magic Millions?
I think he'll be in the first three. I've got him back on online, and I don't think he can beat Testarossa, but I think he'll be very close.
Gary Moore, trainer of Plushenko and the Magic Millions.
Yes, and one of the few horses outside of the favourite that's given any chance in the big race later on this afternoon. The Honda Magic Millions, race 7 on the programme, one of the highlights yet to come here. There's the winner of race 2, coming back to scale, Friends and Lovers, Glenn Boss dismounting. Long odds winner, $28 plus on the Queensland tote, similarly in New South Wales and on Super Tab. Lord Nor second, Explode to Glory third. We'll take a break and return shortly. It's Magic Millions Day, an absolutely fabulous day on the Gold Coast, and certainly a fabulous day for anybody that backed the winner of race 2, number 9, Friends and Lovers. Got the money, ridden by Glenn Boss, and on the Queensland TAB paid $28.25 for the win, $7.30 for the place. $3.55 for the second place getter, number 6, Lord Nor, and $3.25, number 2, Explode to Glory. The corresponding dividends for New South Wales and Super Tab on your screen.